Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
This is Vikings Vent Line, the most fan-friendly, interactive show in all of Minnesota sports. And Judd, I hope you didn't forget on the first edition of Vikings Vent Line, a 28-6 victory over the New York Giants. I hope you didn't forget to dust off the flag because the Vikings are winning.
Where is it?
Oh, there it is!
It's right here. 28-6. I dusted it off yesterday in anticipation of a win, but not that convincing a win.
It started stretching with about 13 minutes to go in the first quarter when Giants fans were booing their team out of the stadium at 1:15 Eastern time. Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, presented by Quick Trip, where we turn the show over to you guys, Vikings fans, to express your thoughts on the game here. If you'd like to get on the show, as always, send a request to vikingsventline@gmail.com. We'll try to get to as many as possible within about 60 to 70 minutes or so. Keep it clean. You know, don't get us in trouble or canceled or fired. But we've got our mustached executive producer, Declan, who's going to be sifting through your emails, the sports dad, Judd Zolgad. I am Phil Mackey. Before we give our thoughts on the game here, Judd, boy, celebratory trip to Quick Trip in order this afternoon, huh?
Absolutely. And in fact, if you pre-gamed a Quick Trip, which is what you should have done, you could have gotten everything that you need for game time. I mean, look at all of these available items. It's not just a convenience store. Yes, it's convenient, but you know what? Game day snacks, game day meals, everything at Quick Trip, including the delicious Karuba coffee right there. And I hope for the week ahead, you filled up the tank as well. Quick Trip has everything for you, and I'll continue to say it. If you don't feel like going in, okay, that's absolutely fine, because there is an app that you can put on your phone, and while you're pumping that gas, they will bring out to you all of the items that you need. I mean, is there anything easier than Quick Trip? It is a proven winner.
Amen. Okay, Judd, so the format of this show in 2024 is going to be, well, Declan populates the room full of Vikings fans and takes your requests. Judd and I will spend the first 10 minutes of the show giving our thoughts, and then we want your strongest takes on either the game or something Vikings related, big picture. But Judd, what is your biggest thought coming out of this one here? A 28-6 dominating win over the Giants.
Well, that's it. This was, I think it's the biggest margin of victory in the O'Connell era going into year 3 now. And that's it. Now the Giants are terrible, but the fact is the Vikings have played some terrible teams in the last few years, and they have not put their foot on their throat on the road. Yes. And that's what they went, and that's what they did. That's impressive. Offensively, I thought that Sam Darnold, who was 13 of 13 late in the first half before he actually threw his first incompletion, he was fantastic. But let me also applaud Kevin O'Connell. This is what we've talked about, and O'Connell did this with Cousins in fairness as well, but I thought today was the perfect, take a guy with talent, but probably not the mental aptitude necessarily. Take that guy and put O'Connell's brain into his head. Because keep in mind, O'Connell can talk to Darnold play calling until there's 15 seconds left on the play clock. One play in particular that I want to point to I thought was encapsulates the day, and it's not the deep pass to Jefferson. There were some plays that we talked about during Judd's camp notes that you saw today, but it's I think it was second down on the 99-yard touchdown drive. The Vikings are still pretty much up against their goal line. And the Giants, the first series we saw, the offensive line can get overwhelmed at times. So what does O'Connell do? He rolls Darnold to the right away from all of the pressure. And Darnold, again, it's more mental with him. It's not physical. Yeah. He's got an arm.
Get him away from Dexter Lawrence, right?
Yeah. So he gets away from that pressure, throws a pass, spot on. Ty Chandler catches it, gets, I think, 8 to 10 yards, and the drive continues. To me, that was one of the plays of the day because it was such a coach and quarterback. Both get credit. I'm not trying to discredit Darnold here at all, but both get credit. I thought that was fantastic. And then Daniel Jones is a train wreck. I will say that. He is an absolute train wreck. But, Phil, I'm not sure your thoughts, but this goes back to what we saw today defensively. I thought was dominance. This goes back to, it's the one thing I don't get. The national press is like, the Vikings are going to be bad, and look at the defense. And we kept saying,
look at the defense. It's they run like 14 players deep.
Yes.
They're like literally Patrick Jones and Jihad Ward are out there wreaking havoc. And I think, to your point, everything regarding today's defensive performance has to be with the asterisk. Daniel Jones is going to be looking for, as Declan said in our text thread, a job with like the ACC network in 2 years. He is garbage. But I think my biggest takeaways are twofold. I'm open for apologies on two fronts today. Okay.
Oh boy, don't go there yet.
No,
Darnold defender from day one. Okay. And by the way, not here to slander the former quarterback. He did throw a back-breaking interception to help cost Atlanta the game at the same time the Vikings were landing this plane, okay? And you guys all laughed and ridiculed and mocked when I told you Andrew Van Ginkel's impact on this team would be game-changing. And look at the big plays he made today, picking that pat. Now, again, Daniel Jones, what are you doing, guy? Right. What are we seeing there? But
and that's the pass. That's the exact same pass and the exact same play that I told you guys in the night scrimmage in mid-August. Darnold threw. And Van Ginkel, he's got the nice mitts. Those are nice mitts. Those are nice hands. But that's a tough play. And like he must have abnormally big hands, because to corral that ball that close is a hell of a play. But look, for the first game, yes, I thought that the Vikings would win. And yes, I thought that the Giants were not good. I did not realize they were this bad. But all of that being said, how long did we bitch and moan about the fact that the Vikings would play a game like this and they would win it by 7 points?
So you brought up biggest margin of victory in the Kevin O'Connell era. I'll take that a step further here. So I was doing some digging on stathead.com, and I put this tweet out like right as the game ended. The last time the Vikings won a game by 3 scores or more, so by 17 points or more, was week 15 of the 2019 season. So it's been almost 5. Now, like, dude, and I was going through, like, since that time period, how often do teams blow another team out by 17 points? Well, the Niners have done it 22 times since the last time the Vikings did it. The Cowboys and Bills have done it 21 times each. I'll scroll way down. The Saints have done it 11 times in the last 5 years. The Colts, the Titans, each with 9. The lowly Chicago Bears and Cleveland Browns with random dudes at quarterback have 7 17-point wins or more. The Vikings are the only team in the NFL until today, without a 3-score margin of victory since the beginning of the 2020 season. It's just, again, like, some of this is just anecdotal trivia, but scoring margin is an indicator of how good your team is. Grain of salt against the Giants today, but to not blow a team out at all in 5 years is kind of miraculous. So, it's just a random trivial thing, but it does. If you look at the teams that have the most blowouts over the last 5 years, it is indicative of the best teams in the league. It's the Giants, it's the Cowboys, it's the Bills, it's the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, teams like that. So they finally got one on the board after 5 years.
And when is the last time that the Vikings finished a game, at least defensively, with the backups all in? Like, it's just nice to have a fourth quarter in which you can breathe.
Yes.
It's like, it's not always cardiac kid crap, right? It's like, okay, we're going to put our backups in because we are destroying this team. And quite frankly, after watching the Giants, that's exactly what the Vikings should have done. But where I give them kudos is it wasn't. And today it definitely was. And I loved, again, from a play calling quarterback standpoint, I loved today. I think today was all, like, I think with O'Connell and Kirk, it was give and take. Today felt like, in watching Sam play, that this was O'Connell saying, okay, here's exactly what I want. And again, I think Kevin O'Connell failed because he didn't necessarily have the physical ability, right? I don't think there was any mental problem there.
As a player, you're saying, Kevin O'Connell?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Kevin O'Connell failed as a National Football League quarterback because he didn't have the ability to spin the ball, et cetera, of what you want. I think as a player, Sam Darnold has failed because when the pressure gets on, if he's told, just go out there and play, he falls apart. Well, the relationship today, It was perfect. It gelled perfectly because what you got was a coach calling a game for a guy who, when he's given a blueprint, can follow it really well. I just saw a lot of things offensively, maybe hard to replicate against good teams a bit more, but a lot of things that I liked.
Yeah. Dex, your quick thoughts before we turn it over to Vikings fans in the audience here.
It's nice to dominate a bad team. And I think going into Purple Props and even the week before, I figured that the Giants are going to be probably one of the worst teams in the NFL. And yes, a large part of that starts and probably ends with Daniel Jones because he's brutal. But the Vikings dominated a really bad team. It's their first big blowout win in 5+ years. Sam Darnold wasn't flashy, and he doesn't have to be flashy. Like I think that was the best part. The beautiful throw to Jefferson was great, but Aaron Jones establishing the run, the defense getting home. Like you saw a formula that might not be the sexiest to like the national pundit's eye, but you'll take those wins. And Vikings fans haven't gone into a fourth quarter like that in years, literally 5 years like that. So I just thought it was a nice dominating win against one of the worst teams in the NFL.
That 99-yard drive was sexy. That was,
that was
by the way,
first one since the Berrien play.
Yeah, Judd and I were covering in 2008. Was it Sunday Night Football? I think it was a primetime game.
Football.
Yeah.
It was
Gus. Yeah. It was Gus Farrat. They got all 99 yards in one play. Gus Farrat to Bernard Berrien. This was more of a systematic, orchestrated matriculation down the field today.
If I'm not mistaken, the Vikings' 99-yard drive before that was in Childress' first year, 06, at Seattle. Chester Taylor. And if you guys recall,
that might have been. I don't know if that was
like
99
today.
though.
It was 98. It was a long drive, but it was methodical. This was methodical. And the pass to Jefferson was absolutely. That's what Darnold can do that a lot of guys can't do. He dropped that in the bucket. That was a hell of a throw.
Yeah. So Vikings absolutely destroy one. I think it's unless they've got a rabbit in their hat, they're going to pull out at some point. The Giants are headed for a top 5 draft pick. I think it's pretty obvious after today. Jordan Love, by the way, out 3 to 6 weeks with an MCL injury. So either Malik Willis or current free agent Ryan Tannehill are going to be the starting quarterback for Green Bay when they play the Vikings in a couple weeks. So I think I might have to tack on an extra win to the Vikings schedule pick. But Dex, there's almost 5,000 people hanging out with us right now live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. You guys are amazing. If you haven't already, or maybe you're just discovering Purple Daily and Vikings Vent Line for the first time, click that subscribe button and the like button on this episode, and we'll keep pumping content in your feed on a daily basis. So Dex, who's first out of the gate here on Vikings Vent Line?
All right, let's open with Dan. Dan, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, Dan. So, and a reminder for the audience and you, Dan, we're looking for your strongest opinion off what you saw today, or your strongest overall Vikings opinion. So, everyone, be ready when you jump on here. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think when that first possession when CJ Ham fumbled? Did you guys like get your eyes big and just do this? Like,
dude, I was ready. In fact, I told you guys via text. It's not going to be my hottest Vikings take because like the Vikings dominated. But I texted these guys and said I already have a minute into this game or whatever my hottest take for Monday ready to unleash, and it was the Vikings should cut 31-year-old CJ Ham on Monday to set. Dude, like, what are we? Quick side rant. You guys spent the entire offseason talking about ball security and all these things, and we get a heavy dose of CJ Ham on the first 3 plays, and he tries to juke somebody. And by the way, they took him out of the game for stretches after that. But yeah, I went from being like infuriated to, okay, Sam Darnold's got this thing. Vikings defense is dominated. But yeah, that early on, that was definitely a standout.
He sat on the field with his head down for a while. I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Vikings ran the ball over 20 times today. Super impressed that they have a commitment to the run. I actually was shocked. Aaron Jones is all business, gets it done when you need to, solid. And Ty Chandler provides a really nice 1-2 punch there. It was interesting to see that dynamic. Darnold looked like he needed to settle into the game a bit. I really think that the first couple of series, he was like, okay, this is this new offensive scheme. What does KOC want? His deep release looks kind of different. It's interesting to watch, but big picture, the Vikings defense is going to be top 5 by the end of the season. There's a lot of athleticism on this defense, you guys.
Yeah, they are fast.
Yes.
Yeah, Dan, thank you, man. Thanks for kicking off the 2024 season. The defense does look fast.
They've got more floors-based personnel. Like, keep harping on that. That's important. He took basically a lot of guys that weren't his players a year ago and did a pretty good job. Like, they did fall apart at the end. They also got hurt. But he did a good job. This year, they have, if you look at the personnel now, they are fast. You know why? Because it's faster personnel. Like, you couldn't put, DJ Wanham was going to be a decent backup, but he was never going to do what you now have with Dallas Turner, sack today, Van Ginkel, sack, touchdown, and Grenard, ton of pressure. I saw him getting in there.
Yep, so, and then putting Patrick Jones on the field in certain situations. All right, Dex, who's next? Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's go to Corey next year. Corey, what's up, man?
Corey.
Hey, I got my strongest opinion ready for you. So I think you guys need to repick the schedule. Just looking at today, Mackey's always said San Francisco's a winnable game, and I completely agree. Don't even play till tomorrow night. Caleb Williams didn't even break 100 passing yards today. It was super refreshing after the game was over. The Falcons come on, and we could see Kirk Cousins take a game-ending sack right at the end there, right after the Vikings win. And he lost to Justin Fields. And the Packers don't have Jordan Love for week 3. So going through the gauntlet of the first 6 weeks, that's supposed to be the hardest stretch of our schedule. Could be looking really good. So I think my hottest take is you guys need to repick the schedule.
Wow. Corey, real quick, how many wins right now? Just emotionally, they just beat the Giants 28-6, all those things you just said. How many wins?
I'm gonna go 10, wild card.
That low?
I thought he was going to say 12.
I was going to go 12, yeah.
Man, we still got the Lions.
That's true. Yeah.
Who knows? Goff.
I don't know, dude. Dan Campbell, he might be distracted doing these Applebee's commercials.
What if Goff gets hurt now, though? Like I told you, we're going to have, I guarantee you there will be at least one more within the next 2 days QB go down for an extended period. It always works this way.
We're due for some good luck. Not to wish that on anyone, but
I got
it always happens to us.
Thank you, Corey. Appreciate you coming on Vikings Vent Line here, Dax. Let's keep rocking.
All right, let's go to Cole next year. Cole, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
How's it going, guys?
Cole.
Dude, so I have a couple of things. I may have had too many before getting on here, but that's okay. First of all, defense, hot take, reckless speculation, top 5 in the league by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Second of all we need is Sam Darnold to just replicate Brock Purdy like the 49ers. Don't be a guy that feels the need to throw the ball down the field every chance you get. Take what you can, and then when it opens up, there you go. Vikings finish 11 wins. We make the playoffs. First round exit. Still a solid year.
Cool cat Cole.
That's me.
Coming in. What jersey are we rocking here?
We're rocking Jefferson right now. Yeah.
Little JJ.
Old school, though. That's a great jersey.
That's right.
Oh, man. Love it. Cole, thank you.
So
we now have 2 of the first 3 guests on Vikings Vent Line. Top 5 defense. This is a top 5 defense.
I think we said top 10, extremely plausible, like 2 months ago.
Yeah, well, they were 13th in scoring defense a year ago, right?
Yeah. Yes. Like that. What we saw today was great. It honestly, especially with how bad Jones is, it didn't surprise me that much.
Yeah.
Like I was not like, I couldn't see this coming. Like in practice, you saw them, Phil. They are flying around.
They are flying around, and like I said, they run pretty deep. Not at cornerback, but they run deep at safety. They run deep at edge. They've like Levi Drake Rodriguez, for instance, and I think one of the other. Well,
Jalen
Redmond. They're both like inactive. At some point, those guys are going to jump in. Yep. So, all right, Dex, who's next?
All right, let's go to Tanner next year. What's up, Tanner?
What's up, boys? Hey,
Tanner.
Gosh, what a game. I guess if I got a few things to say would be this defense is for real. In the red zone, the X packages that they're putting out there, they're not even rushing anybody. They got all the nickel coming out, covering receivers, and then you're still getting pressure on the quarterback. It's just insane to me. I guess if I got anything else to say on top of it is I'm done with Jonathan Vilma, man. This guy, the things he says, he's like, all right, well, it's 3rd down here. It may be 4 down territory, but at least they have one more after this, just in case. What are you talking about? You're just like, he's just talking out the side of his neck. It's very uninspiring,
awesome.
I guess you would say. Other than that, I would say, give me Seth Vernon, bro. Ryan Wright, that punt was awful off the right side. But other than that, Aaron Jones revenge tour, baby.
That's right.
Dude, Aaron Jones. Yeah, Tanner, thanks for coming on here.
How about that touchdown, boys? How about that touchdown? You know what? That looked simple. We didn't see that once last year from the guy that started off as the top back. I mean, that was a hell of a play.
Dude, literally. And again, like, some of this is going to be comparing the new girlfriend to the old girlfriend, right? But Alexander Mattison carried the ball 180 times last year. Did not score a touchdown in the run game. He had zero rushing touchdowns.
And how many times a year ago did we see him in particular fail in an exact red zone attempt? Like, it's it's hard to get a touchdown. Like, you need to run. If it's a known pass, you are going to be at a disadvantage because it's so consolidated. And he made a hell of a cut. Hell of a cut.
Yeah, it gets crowded in the deep red too. You can't
deep red.
You know,
can't throw
there was the stat came out a few weeks ago or during training camp about Alexander Mattison carried the ball like 9 times inside the 5-yard line last year for -7 yards, and then someone found all the plays and put them out. And there was a bunch of commentary like on Vikings Twitter. Well, look at the offensive line. What's he supposed to do? And yeah, like sometimes when it's that crowded, the offensive line could just get blown up. But on that play, for instance, if the first look isn't there, good running backs bounce out to the outside and beat a linebacker or a safety or whoever to the pylon and find a way to score. There was a couple short, like between the 20s too, where it would look like Aaron Jones was going to get tackled for a no gain or a loss, and he would slither his way for 5 or 8 yards. He would just find a way. And that's what a top 10-ish running back in the NFL is able to do. So we've been saying it the whole year. One of the biggest positional upgrades in the entire league was upgrading to Aaron Jones, and you saw it. So let's keep it moving here. Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Let's go to Jake next here. What's up, Jake?
Hey, guys. Greetings from nation's capital, deep in Commanders, Ravens territory.
Yes.
2 things, one positive, one negative. First overreaction. First ever second-round comp pick incoming next year?
Is that possible? Can we get a second-round comp?
I looked this up. There is no statistical limit on how high a comp pick can be. The highest ever was a third-rounder, though. But they've never said that it can't be a second-rounder.
But if your quarterback wins the MVP and Super Bowl MVP and then goes and signs a contract, that would be the formula to get a comp pick for Sam Darnold.
Exactly. Exactly. Second thing is the clock management. Yikes. Just not to bring on parade, but like yikes. So
the 2 timeouts that were
that was really just, and I know it didn't matter because it wasn't a close game, but like that's got to get cleaned up for a game where it actually might matter. So.
Yeah, and on the second one too, I think you take the penalty. Like I wouldn't burn both my timeouts in the second half that quickly. I'd prefer it's fine. Take 1 timeout, but if it gets screwed up again, which it clearly did on the second one, take the 5 yards. Keep the timeout.
Sometimes coaches don't understand like 5 yards versus a timeout. Now, if you have a 3-touchdown lead, KOC might just be thinking, hey, we're probably not going to need these later, so let's keep this drive going. But Jake, thanks for jumping in here from our nation's capital, and we'll get you on again sometime. Let's keep rocking here. Vikings Vent Line. Vikings, if you're just joining, 5,400 people hanging out right now celebrating a 1-0 Vikings team. Sam Darnold looked ridiculous. Should we do the flag again? Judd's got get the flag again.
We can.
Get the flag again.
The flag's right here. It's been here the whole time. I told you. In anticipation of a win, Dustin off last night, but I thought it'd be like a 7-point win, maybe. So very impressive.
First 17+ point win in almost 5 years for the Vikings here. Vikings Vent Line. Who do we got next, Dex?
Let's go to Dylan next year. Dylan, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, how's it going, boys?
What's up,
Dylan? Great win for sure. It was nice when from the jump, Aaron Jones got stopped at the line of scrimmage, but then gained 2 yards. I was like, there it is. There's just keeping that feet moving. That was very, very nice. But a couple other things is kudos to the offensive line, allowing 1 sack with Dexter Lawrence, that absolute monster in the middle. You know, when it happened early, I was like, it's going to be a pretty long day. But, you know, they regrouped. The offensive line got it together, and, you know, they definitely figured it out. Only 1 sack allowed, which was awesome. But the hottest take and the biggest takeaway, I just booked the ticket right now, $100. Sam Darnold, comeback player of the year, plus 3,000, baby.
Wow, look at this. Oh, just keep the flag waving,
Look at
Judd.
you go. Hold
just
on a
keep
second here. We'll give it up.
We're gonna tear Judd's labrums today.
full room. We don't have to go full room, but I am more than happy to wave the flag. And yeah, well, how about this? How about this for for at least two things? You get Sam Darnold, comeback player of the year, and Kevin O'Connell, coach of the year, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good parlay. I'm gonna have to do another ticket.
Parlay, you go do that. You go do
I'll
that.
go do that.
Sportscast Central. And then
All
share
right, guys.
with me
Thank you.
when you win.
All right, Dylan, appreciate you.
Awesome, Dylan.
I mean, I think if you're going to go on underdog, you're probably going to be like some of the disrespectful things I saw on some of these platforms with Darnold. Some of the numbers out there might want to readjust going into week 2, huh, Dex?
Yeah, I just made a nice little withdrawal from underdog into the bank account because I had a Sam Darnold one that hit. I got a few other listener ones too. Matt, for example, showing here on the YouTube screen, had a nice little one hit right away in this game. He took the gimme pick with Travis Kelce, rides some touchdowns with JJ and Aaron Jones. And you can join Underdog Fantasy with promo code SCORE. You'll get up to a 50% deposit match. We love seeing all these winning slips like I saw on Twitter. It's also in our YouTube comment section. But go to Underdog Fantasy, promo code SCORE, and get in on the action. Yeah, have some fun with some Sam Darnold hires and lowers. It's a lot of fun out there.
I love that.
Also, welcome the Canopy Group to Purple Daily and Vikings Vent Line. The Canopy Group showing support for us. When you support our partners, you help keep this show going on a daily basis, Judd.
Mm-hmm. And so we've had them as a sponsor on the station for a long time, but the first time on PD. Welcome aboard. Canopy Group is a locally based company that has your best interest in mind, much like, let's say, a sports executive, constantly on the lookout for the best talent, right? Canopy Group does the same for you when it comes to getting the best insurance coverage and the best prices. They work with 16 groups of reputable companies to make sure you have the best insurance roster available for, let's say, auto, home, health, and business at renewal. And this is very important. You're going to hear from the Canopy Group because they are always on the lookout for the best deal for you. Call them 1-800-967-3389 or go to thecanopygroup.com. That's the Canopy Group, CANOPY.com. Check them out. And again, welcome aboard to the fine folks. And let me give you a little flag wave, Canopy Group. How about that?
We're going again. Oh, wow, you're feeling it today.
We're going again. Well,
Judd's feeling it today.
New sponsor aboard. Very happy, I'm sure, about the Vikings win. Why not?
Jake G chimes in and says, Mackie, hit us with some Kirk slander. As Denny Green once said, you can find me on the high road. I'll just be staring at Sam Darnold highlights until week 2 here. Nice win for the Steelers in Atlanta, though, in week 1. Nice job, Mike Tomlin and company.
Justin Fields got the win, huh?
Yeah, Justin Fields stepping in for the injured Russell Wilson.
Yeah, very nice.
Let's go back to the Vikings vent lines here, Dex. Who's next?
Let's go to Derek next year on Vent Line. What's up, Derek?
Derek.
Oh, what's up, guys? I'm going to tell you, I think I got really fired up when Van Ginkel made that play and then allowed the D tackle to come and fill up the run. I was like, oh, my God, this team is so well coached right now. I mean, that's what stood out right now. I'm 45. I've been doing this a long time, so I'm not going to drink any Kool-Aid, but that was the most prepared team I've seen since, like, man, some of the Dennis Green days when I was young. I mean, that was really an impressive debut. Even if it was against the Giants, I'm going to take it. I mean, I sweated my butt out here in the Phoenix garage. I was hooping and hollering. It's like $110 in here right now, but I don't care. It's my man cave. I'm loving it.
Dude, Derek, I'm glad he brought up that play. Derek, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day down there in the desert. So I don't know if you guys remember the Van Ginkel pick 6 before the snap, but the Giants had 3 wide receivers out to the right, and the Vikings only had 2 defensive backs covering those 3 wide receivers, at least first look. And Harrison Smith was I think it was like single high safety, and Harrison Smith was kind of like shaded toward the other side of the field. And then you had Andrew Van Ginkel off the edge lurking, and then it was either Cashman or it might have been Ivan Pace was the middle linebacker in there. But it looked to Daniel Jones's view like one of his trips receivers was open. Perfect, right? We called a bubble screen over here, and I've got 3 receivers and I got 2 defensive backs, and he's thinking, well, Van Ginkel's probably just going to drop back into coverage and grab one of those 3 receivers. I can just instantly, safely throw the ball. Ivan Pace rotated from middle linebacker out into coverage so Van Ginkel could rush the edge. Mm-hmm. It was like a disguised scheming pick 6. Credit to my guy Andrew Van Ginkel But if you go, we should pull that up with Booney this week. If you go back and watch that, it was a brilliantly schemed play where the Vikings disguised which player was going to go out into coverage. And Daniel Jones thought it was Van Ginkel, so he throws it. Van Ginkel was rushing, catches the pass, and walks in for a touchdown.
There's nothing more fun than when you have good coaching and finally the personnel fits the coaching. Because that was this defense today. The personnel, like Flores is a genius, but he's a mad scientist. So he's doing things that certain guys just can't do. So like he called a play today that they can, pace too small, right? But he's good. I mean, hell, the Metellus breakup play where he's lined up at linebacker, runs the length of the field basically, and breaks up a play. Like this is the thing. The personnel now fits the ask. And the ask is substantial, but when it works, you are really, really tough.
Amen. Vikings Vent Line continues on here, Dex.
Let's go to McQueen here next. McQueen, what's up, man? Lightning McQueen? What do we got?
Friends, Romans, and countrymen. Let me regale you with a tale of unparalleled greatness. Now, let me preface this by saying I did not ask for the back-breaking responsibility of delivering this message to the people. But we need to face the potential reality that Sam Darnold is the greatest football player in the history of the game. Wave it. Wave it, Judd.
You heard McQueen.
We need you, baby.
McQueen.
You heard McQueen.
I think you might have gone too far, McQueen, but I'm waving
Judd's fatiguing a little. That's a lot of flag waving for the first 30 minutes.
Rocco, lift me.
I know it's hard to believe, but we have to be prepared for that potential reality that he's going to lead us to the promised land, be the greatest of all time until J.J. McCarthy steps in, at which point he will become the greatest of all time. Also, Aaron Jones, good at football. Who knew? It's incredible. It's nice to have an actual run game. It feels like it's been forever, even though it's only been like 3 years since prime Dalvin Cook was doing his thing before he turned into an absolute husk. But the last thing, Ed Donatel, I hope he's having a nice day. He's watching some football. He's got a nice cold one. He's with family and friends. And he's got a nice plate of chicken wings, potentially from Quick Trip. And he takes a bite, and he doesn't choke on it, but he gets a bad piece of chicken. You know when you get a bad piece of chicken, and it just ruins the rest of the chicken? Everyone around him's still enjoying the wings. But he looks at it, and he's like, I don't know. So he goes and he makes some popcorn, and he gets the kernel skin just hot welded to a tooth in the back of his mouth, and he's got to go to whatever your new dentist is. He's got to get that taken off.
Yeah, Park Dental and parkdental.com. Yeah,
shouts out. But yeah, he might have cost us a Super Bowl 2 years ago, man. We got to face that reality too, but it's okay because Sam Darnold, slinging Sam, he's going to lead us to the promised land. Also, one last thing, shouts out to Judd's goatee. Fantastic. Love it. Keep it up.
Judd's goatee is the MVP of the fall so far.
A little gray.
Well, McQueen is the MVP of
great call. McQueen coming on, just throwing fastballs. Nice job, man.
Yeah. Dude, Ed Donatel literally got Daniel Jones $80 million guaranteed over these past 2 seasons. Getting booed off the field with 13 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yep. Without that game, Daniel Jones is not starting today. So
no.
He's not there.
Dude, one of my good friends is a diehard Giants fan, and we were texting before the game, and he's just like, we're going to win 5 games. Daniel Jones is garbage. We were obligated to play him this year because we signed into that contract, and you guys got to swoop in and grab a quarterback, and now it's bad news for the G-men over there.
He might get the coach and GM both fired potentially. I think Dable, I think, is in trouble, though, because if he can't turn him around, I mean, those guys saw the playoff game against Ed Donatel, and they didn't say, you know what, this is a one-time thing. They said, let's go and get in bed for how long? Like, he's going to get people fired. I don't think you can survive this mistake.
Dude, it's bad. Who do we got next on Vikings Vent Line, Dex?
Let's go to Jonesy. Jonesy, what's up, man?
Jonesy.
Hey, fellas. God, this is tremendous.
Yes, it is.
New to your show, don't know a lot about it, but I just know that you're old guys that hope we win one before we die, and man, I'm right there with you. My first memory was Fran breaking his leg. I think it was 77, and I was crying. I was sobbing. Didn't really know why, but you see those purple people eaters at the Met, and you're in love ever since. But being here in Texas, I didn't get to see all of the game today, but the parts that I saw, my thoughts were the defense looked really fast. I don't know if the mic that I had was working really well, but it sounded like the pads were cracking a lot.
Oh yeah, I thought the pads were definitely cracking.
Right,
Jonesy.
And on offense, we all knew that KOC's offense is statistically, obviously, very quarterback friendly. But I thought I knew that Darnold would be okay because he's a talent. He has some talent. And he was on time and accurate today. And the reason why they were so effective on offense was similar to why the Giants weren't. Jones was hesitant, and too many passes were off target. You miss one here, one there, a drive gets stalled, and then you end up falling behind in the with the markers. And so I thought Aaron Jones' feet are better than we thought. Maybe his feet are tremendous. The offensive line looked fast, and they were engaged quickly with the linemen from the Giants. I think it's okay to be excited after a victory. I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated, but boy, you've got to like what you see out of this team. I love the revamp. I love the new direction. Kurt priced himself out of Minnesota, and it was just a perfect time to change directions and go to that. We're going to go QB cheap, and we're going to load the roster and load the wagons and go in another direction. Down here in Texas, man, I'm full of Cowboy news all the time, and it's good to hear you guys, and I'll be a regular of the show.
Awesome,
Thank you,
man.
Jonesy.
Jonesy, thanks for the kind words. Appreciate you jumping in. Yeah, I think he said it all. And by the way, they get to load up on the rest of the roster through the duration of JJ McCarthy's rookie scale contract too. So it won't be the only time that they bring in talented players who have cap space, because they're going to have a bunch of cap space in March of 2025 as well. So let's keep rocking here on Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's get him in here. Bob in Pennsylvania.
No hot tub.
No, but even better.
Got the pool?
Got the full pool here.
Okay.
We got the full pool here.
Forgive me, Bob. Forgive me for ever questioning you.
You can't question me on the water.
No.
All right, here's my opinion. Judd, your goatee looks great. Declan, you look like a wannabe Yankee who, they just allowed mustaches, and you don't fit. I don't like the stash. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And
But that
Declan's
is
on the
my-
record saying it's until the Vikings lose a game, he will keep the mustache.
Miguel hates it too, so that probably helps the cause.
All right. Well, okay. Hey, we got a good win today against a bad team that was unprepared. And we're an average team that was well prepared. We have a guru of a coach, quarterback coach, who took Sam Darnold. He started out, he was like 13 out of 14. That is called preparation. And that's what I like to see day one, game one. You got 4th and goal. You go to Justin Jefferson, touchdown. You got Van Ginkel, Flores. It's a bad quarterback. He knows they're going to do some type of screen. He's got his linebacker ready for that pick six. And that's it. That was a game. We did get 2 cheap touchdowns with the face mask, extended the drive, and what was it, the interference? But we'll take it. We'll take the win. And
you can't get the interference
that's all you
call
can do.
unless you got to hunt down the field so you can get those interference calls. And Sam Darnold is going to hunt down the field.
Yeah. Now, and that's the thing I like about Darnold. Unfortunately, look, I just want to say something before I get back to Darnold. First of all, the pressure's off Darnold and it's very unfortunate, and I'm still sick to my stomach about the McCarthy injury. I haven't recovered from that. I'm still grieving. However, with regard to his injury, I think it took a lot of pressure off of Darnold. He doesn't have to worry about, anybody taking his job. He's the man right now. And the receivers and the team know that. And I'm comfortable with that. And I think he is too. So look, it's a big win. I could have went to this game today with my cousin. I couldn't do it because he's still grieving from McCarthy. And, McCarthy, JJ, I hope you heal fast. God bless you, Skull.
Bob,
Great stuff.
one of the OG
Thanks, Bob.
Vikings Vent Line guests.
Right by the water.
Going back to the old radio version.
Was he on
Our
the
guy,
oldest
Bob.
chair of all time too? Like that
Creaking?
crickety.
It was kind of a creaky
I was a
chair.
little worried about that chair.
Yeah, we might want to upgrade Bob's chair budget.
It's a lounge, it's a lounge
yeah.
chair. So yeah, so those creak a lot.
Yeah. Who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Theo, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
I'm just ecstatic. I know it's the Giants. But it's just, I've been a defender of, I don't think anyone's talked about him yet, but Kwesi, they said, he might be too much of a finance guy to be a successful NFL GM, but this roster's been competitively rebuilt. Like all over the field, like even though we've had some tough breaks with draft picks, Mekhi Blackman, obviously Kyrie Jackson, rest in peace, but all these guys that Kwesi's brought in are just playing really good football. And I think, it's the Giants and we're, but I just want to shout out Kwesi because I think people are pretty skeptical sometimes, but I think he's a good GM and I think he knows what he's doing now.
Yeah, it took a while. Theo, thanks for jumping on. I mean, even he has admitted now that he's had to take a deep breath and do some self-reflecting on his first draft, which has just been terrible. But if you're looking at the macros that you need to hit as an NFL GM, it's untangle a bad cap situation, check. It's find your quarterback of the future, pending, but he took his shot, and there's some good signs early on J.J. McCarthy. Nail the head coach hire. I think that's a check with Kevin O'Connell. And then find some other players at key positions like edge rusher. Well, Dallas Turner, with his first career sack today, looked outstanding. Going and getting Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard, so he has upgraded the edge rusher room. Franchise left tackle was in place, Christian Darrisaw, when he got here. So if you look at the macros that you need to hit, has the path to get there been perfect? No. Is it complete? No. Do they appear like they're on the right track if J.J. McCarthy winds up being a hit? Yes.
I like the direction, and this goes well beyond today's game. I like the direction that they're going as a franchise, which is the most important thing. I also think that, the guy joked previously about that the 2022 team could have gone to the Super Bowl if they hadn't had the terrible performance defensively against the Giants. And I love the fact that somebody, Kwesi, O'Connell, a combination probably, corrected the Donatel misfortune with Brian Flores, who's just absolutely fantastic.
Crazy upgrade.
I think it's fair to say that Kwesi has done a much better job in the last year or so of shopping for the groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because he's being told, we want this guy, we should get this guy. I'm not saying he's not involved, but I mean, he's not a hardcore football guy. So it's not like Spielman probably would have told Zimmer, I don't know about that guy. I think if O'Connell says we need this guy, they pursue them. And Flores the same thing. So I think they've been much more on the same page and cohesive when it comes to grocery shopping, which at the end of the day is a layered thing that becomes incredibly important.
Yeah. We've all gone to the grocery store and I don't know, maybe you're rushed or
you're
you're
on the same page with your wife.
You're too hungry or you didn't
I gotta
plan
call
ahead.
Dawn and say, and then I come home with a
I need
ketchup.
the list before I go.
Yeah,
And I stick to that list.
And you should. But sometimes you can screw up because it'll just say ketchup and you'll come home with like a brand name and she'll have, said, why didn't you get the Cub generic brand? It's cheaper. Like she can comparison shop.
She's like, wait, you could have had the name. You could have had the name brand ketchup, and you traded back 20 spots for two off-brand
Or in her
ketchups.
case, it's you should not get the name brand because the cheaper ketchup's the same. But I mean, I'm a guy who goes by with a carton and I just throw stuff.
All
in.
the safeties are the same.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Yeah,
Exactly.
did you watch Kyle Hamilton again?
Because I'm not a grocery guy. Like I'm not a grocery guy. I go shopping. I like to shop, but I'm not a grocery guy. She's the grocery person. It's much like Kwesi.
Who's next on Vikings Vent Line? Purple Daily YouTube channel. Click that like and subscribe button, by the way, if you're one of the 5,000 people hanging out with us celebrating a Week 1 Vikings win.
Alex, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, guys. Just want to say I loved the game today. Definitely loved Aaron Jones and how he liked to run the ball.
Yeah.
I feel like we might actually have a decent run game this year. I loved all the additions on defense, including Andrew Van Ginkel. I like his picks that he had there.
That's right. The gangster.
Right.
Yeah. Alex, thank you, man. Appreciate you coming on. By the way, on the running game, Alex brings up they might have a decent running game. I think, because I made a write that down prediction that just barely hit, that they'd run the ball 25 times or more. They only ran the ball 25 times or more in like 6 games last year.
Yeah.
So they barely even attempted to commit to it. And today they wound up with exactly 25 rushing attempts for 100. It was 26, I guess. Miles Gaskin got in there at one point, or maybe there was a kneel down, but 26 rushing attempts for $111, and then the Aaron Jones touchdown.
Yep. And credit to that first drive, which, obviously came to an end with that CJ Ham fumble. That first drive, the offensive line did not look good. I mean, Lawrence basically threw Ingram into Darnold. And I'm like, oh boy, that's not good. And then I think at the beginning of the second drive, Bradbury got called for like a hold. It's like, this is not a good start. And after that, they cleaned it up. And I don't know if it was partially coaching and change of philosophy as well, but like the offensive line to me, and I'll be curious to see what the PFF grades say, I thought that they had a really good day, and they got off to about as bad a start interior-wise. The tackles were fine. Interior-wise, as you could possibly do. So big credit there, because by the end of the game, I mean, the Giants, I think, had the 1 sack on that first drive by Lawrence. I believe that was it. So
yeah. Yep, Vikings Vent Line. Dex, who do we got next?
Let's go to RJ next year. RJ, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
RJ, hey, man.
Never better.
Hey, love the show. I was on last year, and I was on with Dex for Vikings Vent Line in the offseason right before the draft as well. And my prediction might be coming true. I said 11-6, and I was on my high horse, and I'm a total homer, and I get it. Now I said best case scenario, absolute best case. No one gets hurt. Everything goes right. We might be on that track, fellas. I don't know. We'll see if San Fran can stay true to who they are. CJ Stroud with Houston, we'll see. But my hot take is that the Vikings run game is legit. It is back in business. It is refreshing to see that we actually have a threat in the backfield, and Aaron Jones. Ty Chandler was able to do his thing. KOC was comfortable with toggling them in and out throughout the entire flow of the game. And his explosiveness, he still got it, fellas. I didn't know if he had it or not. It was good to see him fresh and ready to go.
Yeah. Amen. Great stuff. RJ coming in on Vikings Vent Line. Yeah, 14 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown for Aaron Jones. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, Alexander Mattison had 0 rushing touchdowns last year. The Vikings as a team had 7 only, which I think was tied for last.
It was, yeah.
And so they're already pacing well ahead of last year.
And Jones had, I think might have been on consecutive carries or very close in the second half, in which he was just a bull in a china shop. He picked up like 8 yards, and I think every yard he got was after contact. Like that.
Angry yards,
putting his foot in the ground and bang.
Football. Turning up the field.
Dude, it's great to see. I mean, it is so welcome to see a run game that actually looks like it has guys that can run the football.
Yes. All right, Dex, let's keep her moving here. Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's go to Caleb, not Williams. Caleb, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. Coming in here from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you for hosting the show. You guys are a big reason that I stayed a Vikings fan after Kirk left, because I needed a team last year, watched quarterback. I was like, you know what? This Kirk guy seems pretty great. But then I just fell in love with the Vikings, and I was like, you know what? I need to stay here. The culture's great. And so I decided to come here. And it looks like I made a good decision because Kirk had some trouble today.
Wait, so you were like an NFL fan free agent a year or two ago?
Yeah. So all my friends were in it, and I was like, dude, I'm missing out. I got to get into this NFL.
You were.
And so I needed to pick a team, and the Vikings. Everyone made fun of me for picking the Vikings, but they won't make fun of me when we go all the way. All right.
Yeah, usually, I mean, it feels like you might be buying stock at the right time here, going into the McCarthy era. Kevin O'Connell feels like he knows what he's doing here, so
yeah,
this might be good for you.
those are my thoughts. And honestly, Sam Darnold, I loved how comfortable he looked in the pocket today. He just, I mean, it was almost too comfortable because at the start when he fumbled, I was like, you know, like maybe this will be an issue. But then he kept at it throughout the game. He stayed calm, threw some great balls. I love that Jalen Naylor touchdown. That was awesome. And the offensive line looked great. I told my friends, because we're all in like a 10-person fantasy league, I was like, guys, you have no idea how good it feels to finally have a run game. It just feels amazing. I love Aaron Jones, and I mean, it's just great. My brother's a Packers fan, so I made fun of him plenty. It was great. It was great.
Awesome, man. Well, Caleb, not Caleb Williams, but Caleb from North Carolina. Welcome to Vikings fandom. Usually it's full of heartbreak and masochism. We'll see what it brings for you in the coming years.
Thank you.
There he is. A new Vikings fan has been birthed here.
I like how
Purple Daily.
He was like, I got this NFL thing. I
Gotta
got
get in on this.
I understand that with like I don't watch Formula One, but like F1, I should probably get in on this. And
Gotta pick a driver. Yeah.
NFL,
like soccer was, right?
Yeah, I gotta get in on this.
EPL, I gotta get in on it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't we? But we both had teams at one point. Like Jamie Watson made us pick teams like 10 years ago.
And then I got out.
Yeah, it just wasn't. And you had to get up early. You're
Too
watching
early.
soccer at like 6 a.m.
And you were drinking the
NBC
night before,
Sports
and,
Network.
It's just very difficult. It was a difficult transition for me.
It's the whole thing. So, all right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Might have some camera problems, but Mark, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, this will work. Can't see you, but we can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I apologize. I'm still at the game. I'm having some connection issues because I'm close to the garage.
So wait, you were at the game in New Jersey today.
I am at the game.
Okay,
Who's
on
goal chance?
TV it felt like only Vikings fans were there in like the entire fourth quarter.
Man, let me tell you this. Viking fans, when it comes to away games, it seems like we show out. We show out. I'm talking about the fourth quarter. We had skull chants going and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those Giants fans, I know they were all excited. You know, it's the 100th anniversary, and we're going to bring back Lawrence Taylor and Eli and Phil Simms and stuff. But they were ready to turn on that team. The minute something bad happened, the minute there was a false start penalty or Daniel Jones.
Because they've got Christian
and they did.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they turned.
At the beginning of the game, when we had that fumble, I was like, okay, we're going to have a repeat of last year. I was kind of nervous. The line was, we had the sack. I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh, man. And I went to this game, took a 4-hour trip from D.C. But, you know, we started picking it up. You know, Sam started looking comfortable, getting those passes out. And then from there, oh, man, the Viking fans, we were lit. We was lit in that stadium.
That's awesome.
Awesome, man. By the way, we love it. Mark, when people check in from the stadiums, let's keep making that a thing this season on Purple Daily. So, Mark, thanks for being the first one to check in from the actual stadium. Enjoy the rest of your day here, Mark.
Thank you.
See, Mark. And Mark is right. Vikings fans, it's like last 8 to 10 years, I feel like they always, there was always a faction, like in my days at the Strip traveling with the team, there was always a decent, like there would be purple, right? Now it's Packer-like, it's Steeler-like. Mm-hmm. They fill up stadiums. It's awesome to see. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, who's next? We got a few more left here for sure.
Yeah,
right?
we do.
Next.
Let's actually, I think, from the Meadowlands. I think from the parking lot. Eric, what's up, man?
Hey, boys, it's Eric from Connecticut. Remember when I had the big front yard and the little dog?
Yes, dude. We know that yard. Let's go.
We made the trip down, packed up the Ford Bronco. Everyone cared. This is my daughter's boyfriend, Raymond. He's a very sorry, sad fan today. We're being nice to him.
It's okay.
Up a little shaky a little bit, those first couple sets of downs. But then, I mean, we need to figure out how to keep Brian Flores as our defensive coordinator for the rest of the season, for the rest of the time, for the rest of eternity. Everything was firing. It was great. Will the leg, what do we call him? Will the legend? Big Leg Bill kicked us some extra points. It was awesome. And then, yes, Vikings Nation does travel. Even though you're not from Minnesota, a ton of people came from Connecticut. There was the skull chant going in the stands in the end of the third quarter. It was tremendous. Such a great win. Great way to start off the season. And it's so good to see you guys. I literally listen to you every day. So keep up the good work. Sports Dad, you're the man. Godspeed.
Dude,
Thank you very
Eric
much,
from
man.
Connecticut.
You're
we got
awesome.
Vikings fans tailgating.
That's awesome, man.
In the parking lot at the stadium. Amazing stuff, man. Yeah, dude, Eric from Connecticut literally has like a football field in his backyard, like without the lines. But I do remember that. Him running around on Vent Line in that backyard. All right, who's next? Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to Braden next year. Braden, what's up, man?
Hey,
What's up, Braden?
Hi, Braden.
Say thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on. So that was a completely unexpected thing for that one pass that the Giants did to the Vikings. Truly unexpected, and they just ran it down for the touchdown.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing about that game today, Braden?
That was probably that one moment.
Yeah. Hey, who's your favorite player on the team, Braden?
JJ, just glad he's back on the team after his what was broke again? After his contract.
Yeah, well, his contract was broken for a while, and then before that, it was his hamstring that was strained.
Yeah.
But well, hey, Braden, thanks for coming on Vikings Vent Line Week 1 here. Make sure to come on again sometime. All right.
Okay. Thinking
There he
about
is.
joining next time.
Awesome. There he is.
Definitely.
Braden celebrating a 1-0 Vikings team here.
Heck yeah.
Let's keep doing it.
Let's go to Freddie next year. Freddie, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Guys, it's time to eat. Dogs eating. We're eating. The Vikings are eating, baby. It's hard to stop the Viking train. I got to tell you, I was at the Carolina game yesterday, and I got some garbage for what happened with the fireworks in Minnesota. But we're not talking college football. We're talking about a glorious victory in the Meadowlands. But this is we're all circling back to sitting next to a Giant fan. He told me they didn't need Saquon Barkley because they did all these great moves in the offseason. I got to tell you, I'm getting a little nervous because Carolina fans are well aware of Bryce Young and how horrible it is. We're like quarterback purgatory here in North Carolina. And I'm not against JJ. I thought it was a good pick. But I get worried. I get worried, guys, when I see what might happen. But now I see KOC. I'm not saying we don't need JJ, but if he's the quarterback whisperer, we want Super Bowl. And
wow, Freddie is coming in.
Hold
Freddie,
on.
Freddie, thanks for coming out. We are losing Freddie's connection a little bit, but we will get the flag for you.
Do it, yeah. When he's talking Super Bowl, it's almost mandatory to wave that flag.
Okay, lead topic for tomorrow. Would you trade J.J. McCarthy this week, or would you wait another week or two before you traded J.J. McCarthy?
And you're so
after
confident
what you saw from Sam Darnold.
And you're so damn confident that you trade him within the division. You don't care where he goes.
Yeah,
you're
would
gonna
you?
beat him. Because you're going to beat him. That was a hell of a performance. Hell of a performance. by that
It
team.
was, yeah, and it's, the numbers for a while there, it looked like statistically Sam Darnold was going to put up maybe the best game of his career. I actually pulled from Pro Football Reference just a list of all the 100 passer ratings he's ever had in games. What did he wind up with for a passer rating? I think it was over 100. Oh, no, the interception might have knocked it, right? Because he had that the tipped interception.
It was near.
No, it was
perfect.
113, 113.2.
And it was 151 point something, I think, when he was 13 for 14.
So 113.2 would be his seventh highest, eighth highest in-game passer rating of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And before it was like 140 something before and his arm got hit. It happens. But hey, before we get to, I know it looks like we have Heath, and then we've got some other thoughts here before we wrap Vikings Vent Line. But Judd, you went out and got one of those new Vikings scratch game
Look
tickets.
at this.
It sounds like
old school. Old school. Nice, huh? Check this thing out. The Vikings scratch game is the official scratch game of the team. As you can see right there, you could win up to $100,000 or second chance prizes, including, get this, might be pretty valuable, season tickets or an away game trip. If you want to skull elsewhere, it's exactly right. That's officially exciting. Minnesota Lottery, just say, I'm in. Must be 18 or older to play. Pick one of these up at, let's say, where could you pick one up? Perhaps a Quick Trip. Minnesota Lottery, they got you covered.
Hey, Nicolay Law also has you covered. If you or a loved one gets injured, ordinary life can come to a stop. Things can get complicated. And that's where the flannel and the beard come in. Russell Nicolay and his team, rooted in the Twin Cities communities that many of us live in. They're just normal, everyday folks who love the purple, love Minnesota sports, but happen to have law degrees and happen to be able to help you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. We appreciate Nicolay Law being on board for another season of Purple Daily and Vikings Vent Line. You can start your path to winning at nicolaylaw.com or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY. And over on Prize Picks, tried to tell y'all, some of these numbers felt a little disrespectful. Now, Justin Jefferson was an 81.5, and so I may have led you astray there because he winds up, it was a good game. It was 4 catches for 59 and a tud. So, you're not going to win them all, but here's how it works. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You select between 2 and 6 players. You pick more or less on the projected stats, and you place your entry. And all the withdrawals are fast, they are safe, they are secure. It's a great season to be on the Prize Picks app. When you download that Prize Picks app today, you can use the code PURPLEDAILY and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code PURPLEDAILY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. Okay, back to the vent lines here, Declan.
All right, let's go to Heath to round things out. Heath, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Vikings fan here from Hawaii. I know that seems weird, but there's a reason for it. My best friend who is from Minneapolis, I was roommates with him about 15 years ago, prime all day season. That's what got me into it. So anyway, hey, I will say the Fox haircuts at halftime looked like they had a different script ready. They were going to say something else, but the Vikes made him sound like you guys. Oh, well, Sam Darnold, there's a reason he went 3rd overall. You put a team around him, you give him a coach, and there's some talent there, maybe. I don't know. So just saying, a lot of people eating a lot of words.
Go ahead, Heath. Sorry. Go ahead.
I would say also, KOC's, one of the things I was concerned about going into the second half, KOC's play calling historically when leading in this going in the second half has been super conservative. And I don't think that was the case. They continued to push. They continued to just prosecute and execute and put it away. Yeah, they backed off a bit in the fourth quarter, and it kind of seemed like it was a done deal. But that was something I was pleased to see and hope we continue to see, just aggressive, angry football. Man, having a run game. Jets got 50 yards. We won by 22 points. Who cares? So
right.
Man,
Heath, awesome points, man. Thanks for coming on Vent Line here. To that point too, I think there's 2 different things that the Vikings have been missing with that run game the last 2 years. One being just having another gear to turn to switch it up on teams, and just the threat of an 8-yard run or a touchdown run in the red zone. But then there's also the aspect of if you do have a lead in the second half, you sometimes you see these networks put up the stats where if a team runs for this many yards or runs this many times, their record is this, right? Because usually you've taken a lead through the passing game or through some big plays, and then you lean on the run to shut a team down in the second half and grind on them. And it's like the Vikings haven't been, they've tried at times, but it's 3 and out because Alexander Madison's not good enough or Dalvin Cook was washed. So to be able to, if this is their run game for the rest of the year, and Aaron Jones looks like this and stays healthy, totally different element of Kevin O'Connell's bag that we have not seen in these 3 years yet.
And, the thing that's changed too is you've got a quarterback who you can dictate everything he does now. Like you don't have to be concerned about his ego, about how much he wants to throw the ball, about his perception of things. I mean, Darnold is a pure student. So if you're O'Connell now, you've got a run game that most importantly should work. But number 2, none of this, there would be no negotiation now. I'm sure that Sam Darnold has thoughts and he has opinions about things, but there would be no. But it will never be in the back of O'Connell's mind. Well, I can't really do this now because of my QB, how he might feel about it. Everything that you're going to do from a play calling scheme is going to be what's best in your mind. So I think the thing is, it's one game against a bad team. So the Darnold thing is great to see. Like, it's a great start, but it's certainly, there's a lot more to play out. But the one thing that I loved that we saw was an approach that was all about one thing, and that was what was going to make the team most successful. That's the thing. We weren't trying to force things based on egos, based on perceptions. Everything that O'Connell was doing was based on, how can I put this guy, who quite frankly has been a train wreck, in the best position possible to use what he's good at, because we know he's got skills. Have we seen an update on Jordan yet, as far as the
good timing
thing?
So from Kevin Seifert, ESPN.com, Jordan Addison injured his other ankle today.
Oh.
Which is either good news or bad news. I don't know how to take that. Not the one that cost him a few weeks late in training camp, according to Kevin O'Connell. He'll be evaluated again when the team returns to Minnesota. So, it's either good news that he didn't double down on an already injured ankle. Maybe this makes his path back quicker. I have no idea. He did walk off. He didn't get carted to the back. He walked on his own, I think, through the tunnel. So that was a good sign.
Yep, he did not get
I would think if it was extremely serious, even if it was like a high ankle sprain, I feel like he would probably be carted back.
He was carted off the field. He tried to get up in Cleveland during the joint practices when he had the high ankle sprain. Tried to get up and walk off. He couldn't and was carted off. So yeah, I'm guessing he tweaked it here. And they're pretty smart about things. My guess is that they immediately said, we're in really good shape score-wise here. Yeah. There is 0 point in risking this. Yeah. And I will say, Naylor came in and caught a touchdown that, again, was on a fantastic play call. Everyone was flowing to Justin Jefferson, and Darnold just had to throw a nice pass there. That was another play call that was just money.
Yeah. Couple other just nuggets here I'm just looking through. Van Ginkel was taken out of the game toward the end for precautionary reasons, just because he missed time with the foot injury at the end of last year.
Yep.
So it sounds like it was more, we don't want him to get injured while we're up 28-6. Yeah. And then Garrett Bradbury maybe had a knee tweak, but he went back in the game. Otherwise, all things considered, relatively healthy for the Vikings, depending on Jordan Addison.
Yeah. Brace it up, right, boys? Brace it up.
Yep.
Center. You just put a brace on that thing and you
put a second brace. He probably already has one, right? Can we throw a third brace on?
I don't know how many of those guys. That's a good question about, because in college it's mandatory.
You have
That's
to.
That's a good question. But anyway, put 3 braces on for all I care. Get out there on Sunday. You got San Fran coming to town.
Put some ice on that shoulder. Get that flag one more time. 28-6.
There we go. I got untied. There,
Darnold defenders uniting.
Going in the wind right there.
Cousins Crusaders crying. The Van Ginkel gang celebrating today.
Yep. Lots of pressure.
Hey, any just kind of final thoughts or things from you guys? We have a ton more tomorrow. The Monday Purple Daily, so we will be going live. We go live 3 times a week during the regular season. Vikings Vent Line right after games. Year-round on Fridays at 10 a.m. Central Time for Feedback Friday. And then we add in the 9 a.m. live Purple Daily on the Purple Daily YouTube channel on Mondays or the day after games. So we'll have our hottest Vikings takes tomorrow morning. We'll have Judd's Pie Chart of Praise. We'll have all sorts of other things. We've got Before I Die. On Tuesday, we've got Meat and Potatoes. Thursdays. So every day is, if you're new here, and I've seen some people comment that they are new, we are 7 days a week, 365 days a year, your place for daily Vikings entertainment right here, boys. Any
last thought? Yeah. Last thought. First of all, welcome back. This is awesome. And you guys are great. Like 5,000 people watching this on a Sunday after a game.
Amazing.
That is freaking awesome. You guys make these shows. Thank you. And it is so fun to be back. I was on my couch just grinning ear to ear today to be back and to know that this show, which is a phenomenally fun show, was coming up. So
in fact, we have audio from Judd's alarm waking him up today. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Yep. I should actually do this on my phone. You know what? I should do this. That would be a great alarm, wouldn't it? Here's
The problem with alarms is
it's time for some football.
Footy,
here
footy,
comes
footy,
Judd,
footy,
you know, he
football.
stumbles up. He's gonna go get his coffee. Then he grabs a
Have you seen that commercial now?
newspaper. Yes, it's great.
That they
Yes.
actually did a spoof with Collinsworth,
Yes.
spoofing himself.
Yes.
Here's a guy.
But my problem with the alarm clock is like, you know, like the sounds, even like the normal iPhone one, if you hear it on a commercial, it's triggering. Like it's triggering in a negative way. Like, the alarm. I wouldn't want the NFL alarm to think waking up, because then it like starts that same process for me. Even though it's a great song, I want to.
You don't want a negative connotation with these chimes.
Correct.
But you get to wake up for another day. Like this is
Oh,
like
when it doesn't matter.
Really?
If it's my wedding or week 1, the first 60 seconds of me trying to wake up, as my wife says, it's like you are shocked that you have to wake up and do life again. But it's like I'm not a morning person.
Give
I'm
it
not a
10
morning
years,
person.
you'll be thankful that you can get up, and then you play that song because it's like embrace the day.
No, I hate waking up. I
used to.
Dude,
Yeah.
I woke up this morning. My wife was up probably like 30 minutes beforehand. My wife. And I woke up and she was looking at me and she goes, she starts singing, ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum,
Did she?
bum.
What a wife.
It's time for some football.
Also, please take out my.
Yeah. Can you take the dugout
Dog
now?
out.
Amazing. Well, Vikings Vent Line, week 1 in the books. This is the place to be after every single Vikings game, win or lose, or at halftime of the games that they are trailing 33-0. You can go find that one in the archives from a couple years ago if you're new here. For the sports dad, Judd Zolgad, for mustached executive producer Declan, I am Phil Mackey. This is Daily Vikings Entertainment, Vikings Vent Line, the most fan-friendly show in all of Minnesota sports, and the Vikings are 1-0. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.